Right everyone, it is Finn here, welcome back to another video where today we'll be reacting to the 2022 African Cup of Nations draw. Now of course if you've been watching my channel for a while now, or you can just hear my voice, you'll know that I am South African. And as the African Cup of Nations draws and groups have just been released, I feel like it's only fair for me to react to all of the groups that the African Cup of Nations teams will be placed in. Obviously the groups have been released, we know where all 24 teams will be in their groups, we'll be reacting to those groups in today's video, and I'll kind of be giving off a mini/early prediction for the African Cup of Nations. Now it's not going to be anything fancy or too in-depth in terms of an in-depth prediction for the African Cup of Nations. I will be releasing that closer to the time of the actual competition itself. But let me ask you before we get into the predictions and reactions, who will you be supporting at the African Cup of Nations? If you're from an African nation, obviously you will be supporting from that nation unless they didn't qualify, like myself being from South Africa, or if you're not from an African nation, who would you support for this competition? But obviously before reacting to those groups, I feel like it's only fair that we do a quick recap in terms of how every single team got to this stage of the competition. Now obviously we've got preliminary rounds and qualification group stages, but looking at the preliminary rounds, obviously the likes of Chad qualified over Liberia, as we can see in terms of penalties. Obviously South Sudan beat Seychelles, we've got Mauritius lost to the likes of Sao Tome and Principe, and obviously the likes of Djibouti lost to Gambia in the preliminary round. Now in terms of the group stages, looking at the group stages, the likes of Mali and Guinea obviously qualified from Group A. Mali I'm not surprised by at all, I'm expecting big things from them this competition. Obviously with the likes of Adama Traore, not the Wolves one, but they've still got a plethora of Adama Traores, with the likes of Basuma as well, with the likes of Janepo and a bunch of other fantastic players. I do expect a lot from them this competition. Obviously the likes of Namibia and Chad being knocked out. Obviously the likes of Burkina Faso making it through the next group for Group B. Once again, not surprised, they've got some fantastic players. Obviously the likes of Bertrand Traore from Aston Villa pops to mind. They've got some fantastic youngsters as well. Malawi making it through. I'm not going to lie, I kind of expected more from Uganda, but we do move on. Looking at the likes of Group C, Ghana and Sudan obviously making it through Group C. And as a South African, yes, once again, my nation is not in the competition. And I'm very upset because, I don't know, I feel like South Africa has so much potential to them. We saw that at the Olympics. I thought that they were pretty good at the Olympics, even versus a nation like France. They didn't look too bad, but obviously African Cup of Nations qualifiers, they weren't too great. I expected so much more from South Africa. I feel like if we put a younger team forward, maybe we could have gone further. But unfortunately, that is it. That is their story done for the competition. They'll not be at the African Cup of Nations 2022. Obviously, Group D, we've got Gambia and Gabon, which I'm excited. We're going to see the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at the African Cup of Nations this time around. I'm excited for him. Hopefully, he does a brilliant job. And I am somewhat surprised by DR Congo not making it through. I thought the Democratic Republic of Congo had a fantastic team. Obviously, they've done relatively well in recent competitions when they have qualified. I am surprised they didn't make it through, and I do feel like they should be disappointed in themselves. Obviously, the likes of Angola to an extent as well I expected something from, but I'm not majorly surprised. Now going on to Group E, obviously we've got the likes of Morocco, and I would lie to you guys, I'm expecting huge things from Morocco this tournament. I think Morocco can go all the way, to be honest with you. Obviously they've got the likes of Ziyech, Hakimi, they've got that striker from Sevilla, they've got Saiss from Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've got a fantastic team. I hope they can just work well together in this competition. Obviously the likes of Mauritania, I think that's how you pronounce it, they've obviously made it through, and Burundi, I'm kind of surprised they didn't make it through. I think they qualified for the last African Cup of Nations competition. They didn't look too bad in that, so obviously them not making it through is a letdown. And obviously Central African Republic, I don't know if I expected maybe third or second from them, but I don't know if I expected fourth. Going on to Group F, obviously the hosts Cameroon won their group. Once again, a nation that I am expecting big things from. They've got fantastic players. They normally do relatively well. And obviously being a host nation, you do expect something from them. And obviously Cape Verde, obviously making it through. I don't feel like it was a super tricky group for the likes of Cameroon. Obviously they did end up getting one loss, but at the end of the day, Cameroon were going to win their group easily, and the likes of Rwanda and Mozambique have not made it through. Now moving on to the likes of Group G, obviously we've got the likes of Egypt winning that group, which I feel like lots of people feel like Egypt are somewhat super dependent on Mo Salah, but they've got a fantastic team at the end of the day. And the likes of Comoros, the islands also making it through, which once again I expected a tiny bit more from Kenya and Togo. Group H, Algeria, Zimbabwe, Zambia and Botswana. Obviously quite a few southern African countries there, but Algeria were just going to win that every day of the week. And just like a few other nations I mentioned like Morocco, I expect expect big things from Algeria, who obviously I think won the previous African Cup of Nations, and I feel like they could do it back to back. Obviously they've got the likes of Mahrez still in that squad. They've got fantastic players absolutely everywhere actually. If I had to name their great players, it would be never ending, but they've got a great attack heading into this competition. Obviously Group I, we've got the likes of Senegal and Guinea-Bissau, who once again I think more or less to be expected. Maybe I expected a bit more from Congo in terms of qualifying, but Senegal were just going to win that every single day of the week. They've got a fantastic squad. I mean, Edouard Mendy as your goalkeeper, you've got Koulibaly, you've got Sadio Mane, you've got Salah. I mean, what a fantastic team. Once again, I expect big things from. And just a little interesting fun fact about Eswatini in South Africa. We actually refer to Eswatini as Swaziland. It's only really the rest of the world, I think, that call it Eswatini. But Group J, obviously we've got the likes of Tunisia, who obviously qualified for 2018 World Cup. Not surprised they're there with the likes of Equatorial Guinea. We've got Group K with Ivory Coast. Once again, expect kind of big things in my opinion with Ethiopia. Maybe expected Madagascar to put more of a fight. Then we've got the likes of Group L, which obviously Nigeria were group favourites to make it through. I'm a bit surprised that Benin didn't put a bit more of a fight, but at the end of the day, Sierra Leone, once again, not too surprised that they made it through. And those are the groups, and now to just look at the groups that have been made, the draws for the African Cup of Nations. Okay, so starting off by looking at Group A, obviously that is what Group A looks like with the likes of Cameroon, Faso, Ethiopia, and Cape Verde. I feel like in terms of a prediction, as I said guys, this isn't going to be a fancy prediction, this is going to be a quick run over, and a proper prediction will come at a later stage, but I might as well just give it an attempt by first glance. And by first glance, I do feel like Cameroon are the favourites. In fact, I feel like the way Group A is represented right there is how Group A will end up looking. I do feel like it is going to be Cameroon. I do feel like Faso will be in second place. Maybe Cape Verde actually in third place, and then Ethiopia in fourth place. At the end of the day, it is a relatively, I would say, a tricky group between second to fourth place, but I do feel like Cameroon should have that group on lockdown. Group B, as I said, Senegal, I'm expecting big things from this competition, so I do expect Senegal to win that group, possibly followed by the likes of Guinea, and then maybe Malawi, and then maybe Zimbabwe in fourth place. Group C, Morocco, Ghana, Comoros, and Gabon. Now that could be a really entertaining group to watch. I wouldn't quite call it a group of death, but I would say three groups there look really good. Obviously, I would say the likes of Gabon, Ghana, and Morocco could all really entertain us in a competition like this. But I do feel like Morocco, as I said, I feel like Morocco could go all the way in this competition. So because of that, I do feel like Morocco are going to win that group. I do feel like Ghana is probably going to be second place, with Gabon in third place and Comoros in fourth place. Group D, we've obviously got Nigeria and Egypt in the same group. And as I said, I don't know if Egypt are as reliant on Mo Salah as people think. I think it's a fantastic team all around. But Nigeria, looking at Nigeria, obviously they've got the likes of Ndidi. They've obviously got the likes of hopefully Igalo plays in their competition. Obviously Iheanacho has picked up in form as of the last season. I think Nigeria have a fantastic squad. Obviously the likes of Osimhen from Napoli. I think that Nigeria have a fantastic squad heading into this competition, and it might be one of their best squads we've seen in a very long time. I think Nigeria will top the group, Egypt in second, and in terms of third and fourth place, I don't know. I think Sudan could end up getting third place. In terms of Group E, once again, Algeria could go all the way. I am going to put Algeria top of the group with maybe the likes of Sierra Leone in second place. No, actually, I'm going to put Ivory Coast in second place. I almost didn't see that. Algeria and Ivory Coast together looks fantastic. Once again, Ivory Coast, the team that I thought looked relatively good at the Olympics. I thought they had some fantastic displays. They've got some really good young players, a lot of veterans in their squad, a lot of experience. A really well put together mixed team. So because of that, I think Ivory Coast could be in second place, then the likes of Sierra Leone in third place, and Equatorial Guinea in fourth place. Now the final group is going to be the likes of Tunisia, Mali, Mauritania, and Gambia. Now I think it's going to look relatively similar to that. Obviously Tunisia, I feel like, is maybe the stronger team, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mali came first in their group. I do think it will be. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be brave. I'm going to put a bold prediction for it and say Mali first, Tunisia second, then maybe Gambia in third place. That's more or less what I think the predictions will look like. But guys, that is my recap, or that is my thoughts and opinions on the African Cup of Nations now that the groups have been released. There are some really interesting groups out there. I wouldn't say there's any particular group that I would say, wow, that is fantastic. I think all groups have a good mixture of teams that you don't expect a lot from, plus teams that you do expect a lot from. There are a lot of teams that could win it this time around. I mean, just looking at the teams, I think Cameroon, have a really good shot. The likes of Senegal, Morocco, Nigeria, Egypt, Ivory Coast, Algeria. There are so many fantastic teams in the African Cup of Nations. Yes, once again, as a South African, I am disappointed that my nation won't be there, but it should still be an interesting competition at the end of the day. As I said, guys, let me know in the comment section down below which team will you support at the African Cup of Nations, whether you are from an African nation or whether you are not from an African nation or your team just didn't qualify like myself. I still have to decide which team I want to support. I mean, I would like to go for someone like Algeria, maybe Senegal, Morocco. There are so many fantastic options to choose from, but guys, let me know in the comment section now what you choose. But guys, as I said, a little quick video updating you guys on the African Cup of Nations now that the draws have just been released. There are definitely some interesting groups to keep an eye out for, and in terms of a full-out prediction, I will release that at a later stage. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed. I'm really close to 1,600 subscribers, so I would really enjoy that. But guys, this has been Finn, FYNN. Have a good one. Cheers.